Flores, turn this up. Thank you very much.
I had 3 more seconds and I had the whole thing. I was supposed to have 3 minutes.
Sir, thank you. Thank you very much. Next speaker, please.
It's the JR Show from Studio 99 at the American General Media Complex. On air at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Online at kernradio.com. Now, here is your host, JR.
Top of the day to you. This is the JR Show. I am your host, JR Flores. You're listening to Kern Radio. Check us out online at kernradio.com. You can download the Kern Radio app to your smart device and also watch us live streaming on YouTube. Just head over to YouTube, search up Kern Radio, hit the subscription bell, the notifications, and you can come along for the ride every single day. We're also on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and X. Just look up Kern Radio. I am also out there, JR Flores, or why not JR? Happy Monday. We got a great show for you lined up. We got guests. We have guests. We have 2 guests. We will have a little debate between the Kern County chair of the Democratic Party, Mr. Christian Romo, and Matthew Martin. He heads up the Kern County Young Republicans. We're going to discuss Prop 50 as the special election comes closer. November, that's the 1st, 2nd, 3rd. That'd be the 4th, 5th, and the 6th. Chris, look me up. 7th. You have your mail-in ballot already, and you could already send it back if you felt like it. But we will discuss Prop 50 today as that special election comes closer. And if you didn't know already, as I stated in week 2, the Raiders are terrible. The Raiders are a terrible team. I think there's maybe only one team worse than the Las Vegas Raiders right now. Chris is going to tell you who. He's chomping.
No.
Go ahead. Your friends, your co-host is sitting. Your co-host is sitting right there. Go ahead.
No.
Tell them.
They're not even worse than the Raiders. No.
Oh,
Miami,
really?
No, Miami better than the Raiders. No.
They lost to the Browns, Chris. Come on.
Ain't that bad.
Oh, please.
The Browns ain't that bad.
Yeah.
Top tier defense. Right
Yeah.
now. They are. Statistically, they're a top tier defense.
We'll break down the week. What is it? 7 of the 8? 7. Week 7 of the NFL. Plus the MLB playoffs. Who took my broom?
I put the broom away. Yeah.
Put my broom away because on Friday I
sleep already happened.
had to pull out my broom, and we'll talk about what is the greatest performance in the playoffs ever by a one Shohei Ohtani from the Los Angeles Dodgers, the defending Los Angeles Dodgers. We'll discuss all that later in the program. First, tell you about the weekend that was. Beautiful weekend. The weather was great. Spent all day Saturday and all day Sunday outside at the marketplace via Arte. But before that, on Friday, I went, as you know, we air the Bakersfield Christian High School football home games on our station right here. And so there was a home game on Friday. I told you guys it's the game of the week. You're going to want to be there. BHS versus BCHS. BCHS coming in undefeated. BHS should have been coming in undefeated, but had one loss because they had to forfeit a game. And BHS was looking for revenge from last year where they lost on a last-second field goal. They have now lost 4 straight to the still, I hope my niece is listening, undefeated Bakersfield Christian High School Eagles. Boy, that was probably the best high school football game I have been to. Hell, that was the best football game I've been to all season this year, Chris. I've been to 1, 2, 3 NFL games and a lot of Bakersfield Christian High School football games. That game on Friday night was the best football game I've seen played in person all year long. BHS comes out in the first quarter and they run it down Bakersfield Christian's throat. I mean, right at him all the way down the field, so much so that they took up probably 3/4 of the first quarter, just jamming it down their throat down the field, just handing it off right up. I think they maybe took 2 pass attempts. And then they got up to about the 10 when BCHS finally stopped them. And then they came out to kick a field goal and they missed it wide left. And I said, uh-oh. At that point, I said right there, uh-oh, that's going to come back to haunt them. And it would, because they ended up losing by 2. But the game was just exciting after that. BCHS had a 3 and out. BHS comes back on the field and does the same thing and just hands off the ball and is just running straight into the defense of BCHS and just manhandling them all the way down the field. This time they scored a touchdown. BCHS comes back out, gets the ball. They answer. They had a couple big plays, big pass down the field, and then they get into the end zone. Tie it up, 7-7. I think it was halftime at that point. They come out. BHS, or no. I take that back. BHS gets the ball back. They go down, and I believe they score again. And now it's 14-7. And then BCHS gets the ball. And then they answer. They get a touchdown. But now they're lining up for the extra point. And it's blocked. It's blocked. BHS is winning 14-13. That's okay. We get the ball back coming out of half. We get the ball back. It's an even battle. At one point, it looks like BHS is about to score. And then from the 10-yard line, with 5 minutes left, they fumble. That's what I say, Kyle, too bad he's not here. Kyle Kern, son of Greg Kern, was at the game filming for his dad. It was so sad. He was in the end zone waiting for BHS to score. No, I think they were up 14-7 at that point. And they were about to score. And Kyle's in the end zone waiting for them to throw the pass or get into the end zone. And they fumble. And BCHS recovers it and takes it back all the way to like the 10. And all you see is Kyle Kern trying to run to the other end zone with all his equipment. Like, poor Kyle. And then that's when they scored the touchdown. And we thought it was going to be tied at that point with 5 minutes to go. We're about to tie it up, Chris. 5 minutes to go in the game. About to tie it up. And they blocked the extra point. Oh, 5 minutes left, and we missed the extra point to tie it. And what does BHS do? Gets the ball back, and they're just running. And they're just running. They're trying to run out clock as well as get down the field, and they're getting down the field. And they're on the goal line. And it looks like they're just going to put it away by scoring a touchdown. And what do? They fumble again. As my niece said, I know, I didn't have the heart to call her on Friday at the game when it was over. She was on the BHS side. I called her Saturday and she answered, I know, I don't want to hear it, okay? Butterfingers, yeah, say whatever, all of it. Go ahead. He fumbled. BCHS picks it up, rumbles down the field. 14-13. The ball. All we got to do is score. We can't punch it in. And guess what? With about a minute left, we got to kick a field goal. It's 14-13, and they're ready to block an extra point. Oh, my gosh. The stress. And he makes it. With about a minute left, BCHS goes up 16-14. But BHS still has time. and they still have the ball. And they're moving, and they're throwing. And then it's an interception. And at that point, I swear I thought the box, because we sit up top of the Eagles' nest there, and I swear the box was moving so much that I thought it was going to come down. I was grabbing the teacher, shaking him. They were shaking me. I was shaking the announcers. The best football game I've been to all year. By far. Not even close. And I've been to 3 NFL games this year. One in which the Raiders actually won.
I was going to say 3?
Yeah. We went to the 2 we went to this year. We went to the Monday night against the Chargers.
And then the last one.
And then the last one against Tennessee. And then at the beginning of the year, the end of last season, the very last Raiders-Chargers home game.
You're counting. Okay.
Hey, that was this year.
No,
I said
this year. I'm sorry.
year.
When people say this year, I immediately say this season. You're absolutely correct.
Season.
Technically, that was still this year.
Calendar year.
Yes, absolutely.
Is what I should say. But it was even my niece who they lost. BHS lost, but she said I had fun. That was a great game. I said you got to admit that was a great game. That was a great game. She said that's the most fun I had at a football game. It was crazy to watch those sides go back and forth at the end of the game, like that fumble when it was 14-7, and I say BCHS gets the ball and runs it down the field to about the 10, and BCHS side's just going crazy, and then we score and they're going crazy, and we're about to tie it 14-13, and they block the extra point, and then the momentum shifts, and BHS side is going crazy. That last 7 minutes of that ball game, yeah, you had to be there. I heard at one point Stan Green for the Kern High School District was about to leave and turned around and came back in because he saw what was happening. He was like, I can't leave yet. We got to leave. We got to get to a break. Guests have arrived. Mr. Matthew Martin, he is with the Kern County Young Republicans, going to do a debate with our good friend Christian Romo, chair of the Kern Democratic Party. We're going to be talking about Prop 50. If you got your ballots, get them out. It's the JR Show. It's Kern Radio. We'll be right back.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The Ralph Bailey Show.
Are they both here?
Days from 3 till 6 p.m.
I think the president is handling this
Are they both here?
threatening to provide Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine because it puts the fear of God in Vladimir Putin. But at the same time, does he really want America to escalate this thing and perhaps almost get involved? I think he's playing it well because I don't think Putin wants peace.
On News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
What's that?
This is your intrepid news reporter, Scoop Newsman, coming to you live from a helicopter high above the historic Santa Margarita Ranch. From this great reporter's loft vantage point, I can see preparations are continuing for the return of the Jingle Bell Express that will whisk passengers to Santa's Village. Reports are that the historic Jingle Bell Express will be pulling amongst their cadre of rolling stock, genuine original Disney train car. Once you arrive, kids and adults will be entertained like never before with a mystic magic show, a charming Christmas market, adorable pony rides, and more food, fun, and frivolity than ever. The Jingle Bell Express will be arriving at the historic Santa Margarita Ranch November 28th and running it.
Oh, I need to put on headphones too.
Deep inside Santa's Village,
Here,
that's
yeah,
confirmed that if your plans change, your tickets can change too, from now until November. So make sure you reserve your seats on the Jingle Bell Express by going to christmas@themargarita.com before the Christmas train passes you by.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote.
So when I'm
SelectQuote
hanging
found us
upside down on
identical
flat
coverage
phone,
for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
It is somehow a trend because I saw
We
Central
shop.
Cali.
You
brewing
save.
sign.
Full
they have
details
it.
on example
have it
policies
upside
at
down.
selectquote.com/commercials.
But then
Not
remember,
again.
I don't
This
know if you
copier
remember
is always
he had a-
jamming.
We should call American Business Machines.
Since 1927, American Business Machines,
Well, it
an
does,
authorized
because
dealer
it's
dealer, has
it's
been
a bit-
providing
you're trying to-
solutions, from
you're like,
state-of-the-art
what is that?
copiers to advanced printers.
but see,
We
he
ensure
said
your
that
business
people
runs
going, hey, you know
smoothly.
your
Visit
billboard's
abm1.com or call us today at
Tell me, but,
1-877-YES-ABM1. That's
That was the whole thing, is like,
Hey, you called.
1-877-937.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, now you called."
Your trusted
It
partner for
worked.
all your office technology needs.
Weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 9 AM 1180 KERN. Now back to JR Show.
Rocks make milk. And the sea may burn.
Welcome back. It's the JR Show. It's Kern Radio. Check us out on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, search up Kern Radio, subscribe, hit the notification bell. You can even jump in the chats over there. I'll jump in and see what you guys are saying. Hope you had a great weekend. It was beautiful weather. I also made it out to Via Arte. I was out there for 2 days, helping the beautiful, tall, gorgeous blonde with her square. Got it all finished on Saturday afternoon. Got to walk around and enjoy the rest of the artwork. If you have time, still get out there today before they wash it all off. Tomorrow, it'll be all gone. All that work, 18 hours of work, gone. Just like that. So get out there if you get a chance today to the marketplace and check out those chalk renderings, chalk masterpieces out at Via Arte. Got two of my very good friends in studio. Probably, I think, for the first time, at least on this show. We've done this before, many incarnations, whether it has been on Ralph's show in the past and at Casey's Steakhouse, probably plenty of times. And just recently, we spoke with the Kern Leaders Academy class by Michael Turnipseed and the Kern Taxpayers Association. It is my good friend, Mr. Matthew Martin with the Kern County Young Republicans and Mr. Christian Romo, chair of the Kern County Democratic Party, plus many other titles, right, gentlemen? Do you guys want to take 5 minutes listing them all off?
It's going to take hours, actually.
That's right.
Matthews
That's all
does.
right.
Matthew's got about
And
10
I
of
just want
them.
to point out to the
Here we go.
listeners,
Uh-huh.
I am also a young Dem. So, because you're a young Republican, but I'm a
Yeah,
young
and
Dem. We're all young here.
And technically, I'm a elected member of the Republican Central Committee too. So we do both. You know.
See, they got to get all their titles in. I'm the old guy in the room, apparently.
Apparently.
I think I'm the only one in my 40s, actually, but that's okay. Thanks for stopping in, guys. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys taking your time. We did a class the other day. It was a fun lesson in civics, was it not? Did you guys have a good time with that?
I had a great time. Actually, I wanted to be there for a few more hours. That was a very impressive group that we had there.
It was so engaging, and you know, we go back so many years since when we did Kern Leaders Academy together, and it was really nice to reunite in that way. And we always have a great time. A really good class, and I was so surprised. Most of our bills that we brought up, we actually got them passed, and we agreed on 2 out of 3. So that was pretty cool.
It's always good when we can agree. Here's something that I think we will not agree on. Most of us have received our mail-in ballots. That's a whole nother debate that we won't even get into today because my friend Chris in the other room just moved into his apartment probably about 6 months ago and has 4 ballots with other people's names on them that don't even live there anymore. But that's not his fault. That's not the registrar's fault. That's the people that voted didn't change their address apparently. So we won't blame that on that, but not to mention
It's the Democrats' fault.
Not to mention we shouldn't be getting automatic mail-in ballots. Anyways, we'll move past that for another
But Chris,
day.
did you fill it out and vote? Come on.
Fill mine out.
Fill them out, but yes.
No.
I'm just kidding.
He doesn't know how to match signatures anyways. But if you don't know what we're talking about, if you haven't got your ballot, check your mail because you should have by now. Special election happening November
4th.
4th?
Yeah.
That's like
a few weeks.
2.5 weeks away.
Yeah.
Did you
it's
just realize we have an election?
no, I know we had a special election because it's costing
That's why
us.
we have to come on more often.
It's
Yeah,
costing
no,
us
that's right.
$300 million to do this darn thing, which we won't even get. Now that's part of the debate too, though. Prop 50, the redistricting of California's congressional lines mid-census. I'm only guessing which side you guys each sit on, but I'll give you 2 minutes each to go ahead and give me an opening statement on your thoughts on Prop 50. Who wants to start?
I think I'll go.
Go ahead.
So, yes on 50. Let me just start by saying that, and here's why. It's a long, complicated process on how we got here, but essentially it boils down to what Texas did. We gave them an ultimatum. We said, if you stop this illegal process of redrawing the lines to favor your party because you can't find 5 extra seats because there's such a slim majority in Congress, and President Trump is thinking that they're going to lose the midterms for many different reasons. We said, if you stop that process now, we'll take this off the board. We'll go back to what we have in place here today. That's not what happened, and we're going to have to fight fire with fire now, and we're not going to stand down. California needs to lead the way like we always do, and saying this is not right. You can't just steal an election from us, steal democracy from us. This is not okay. So what we're doing is combating Texas's illegal process and saying, this is not right. And although I don't technically appreciate with Governor Newsom the position he put us in, and Governor Abbott and President Trump, I don't believe in that process at all. I do believe in a fair, open, transparent process, which is what California has had for a while. I think we have no other option. We're left with these options here today. And the reason why I'm voting yes is because this is also a very temporary process, doing it mid-census. So in a few years, in 2030, when the census comes back, we'll go back to the drawing board. And hopefully by then, we could actually make this a nationwide model of having a fair, transparent process of independent people, independent operators, nonpartisan operators drawing our lines. And that could be a nationwide model that California has been doing for a few years now. And that's why I'm voting yes on 50. And we'll get into it a little bit more, I'm assuming, in a bit.
We will. And you're right. I should have set that up properly. California, the difference between California and Texas is Texas just the legislature got the vote and say, yes, this is what we're going to do. Where in California, a few years back, the voters said, no, we want this to be an independent council, an independent board that does this with the census every 10 years, that redraws the lines. And we've all voted to have it that way. And that's what was set forth for the voters. Now, Newsom is trying to take that power back from the independent council and to be able to redraw these lines. That we'll get into who drew the maps in just a second. Mr. Martin, would you like to take your 2 minutes, sir?
Yes, I would. Well, here's the thing. Proposition 50 is a power grab by Gavin Newsom. Let's be very clear here. When we look at redistricting, it's a states' rights issue. It's given to each state to do. 34 states currently allow the legislature and the governor to draw their lines. That's what they set up in their state, and every state has that right to do that. And there's another 12 or 15 states that have some form of independent commission. So back in 2010, California passed the Citizens Redistricting Commission Act, and essentially what that did is that allowed 5 Democrats and 5 Republicans and 4 no-party preference folks to sit there and be on a commission and look at the drawing. Now, even with that process, it's still not entirely nonpartisan. Why? Because the person who gets to choose who sits on that committee is the auditor. Now, who's the auditor in the state of California? Different in every state. In California, the auditor is appointed by the legislature and the governor. So let's be clear on this, that this redistricting commission was not even all that nonpartisan, which is why when you look at the numbers, California voted 40% for Donald Trump, 38.5%. So nearly 40%. And by those numbers, we should have roughly 21 members of Congress representing the Republican Party in Congress from California. We have 9. So let's be clear. This is a power grab beyond the pale. And Christian, the Democrats say this is Texas and Texas did this, so we have to do that. No, no, no. We are suspending. The governor has suspended the state constitution. Let's be clear on that. It is a suspension of the state constitution and the will of the voters when we passed that proposition in 2010. And it is doing so by saying, well, Texas did this, so we'll do that. We have it, or how we do it here is an independent commission. How 34 other states do it is through the legislature. So absolutely vote no on Proposition 50. It's a power grab. We should not be playing politics with our congressional representation and a tit for tat. It's wrong, JR. It's wrong.
It's wrong. We'll get into why it's right and wrong. Thank you, gentlemen, for your opening statements. We got to get to the bottom of the hour news. On the other side, we'll break down why it's right, why it's wrong. Prop 50 in California. That's at least the good thing is we do have the final say.
Yep.
We get to decide whether or not we can say yes or no on Prop 50. More on the other side with Christian Romo and Matthew Martin. This is the JR Show. It's Kern Radio. We'll be right back.
Now, back to the JR Show.
Some poison. It's driving me. If I sing, though, on YouTube, it makes me kill the whole thing. You don't even get my audio. Thanks, YouTube. Welcome back. It's the JR Show. It's Kern Radio. Check us out online, kernradio.com. Download the Kern Radio app to your smart device. Check us out on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, search up Kern Radio, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Find us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, X. Just look up Kern Radio. I am also out there, JR Flores, or why not JR. I want to welcome back our guest, Mr. Matthew Martin. He's the Republican, and Christian Romo, he is the Democrat. I'm the no party preference guy. And somehow we all became friends one time over class, and then we all started going out and hanging out. And here we are still today doing the darn thing for y'all. We're talking about Prop 50 today. You heard opening statements from each. Obviously, the Republican opposes Prop 50, and the Democrat supports Prop 50. Now we'll find out what can we agree here? Can we all agree here? And he's probably going to have the hardest time with this. Is what Texas is doing wrong?
Yes.
No.
Why can't we just agree on that?
I think
Because
wrong.
I think what they're doing is wrong. I really do. Yes, you can make the argument about there's misrepresentation there and they're just trying to correct it, this, that, and that. I think what they're doing is wrong.
Well, I will say one thing is that.
See, we agree. I got your back over there.
Okay, that's point for the two of you. No, well, one thing where I don't think that's true is when we look at the census this last time, the Biden administration refused to not count illegals in the census, which is something that we're finding that's happening in California, tremendously so. We would have lost another seat or two in Congress. And the same thing happened in Texas. And when you look at what Governor Abbott did, he tried to say, whoa, I want our census to be done differently. But because it is controlled by the federal government at the time, I think he had every right to do that under this circumstance that now when they're doing the census in Texas, they're not counting illegal immigrants where they did during the last census in a former administration. So normally I would agree with you both, but I think there is some leeway this time to make sure that it truly is the best drawn seats and representation for the people of Texas.
So now you want to count illegal immigrants?
I was going to say,
No,
we're not counting. Wait a second.
Here's the other thing about it. It really was not, I don't think, Greg Abbott's idea. I think it was President Trump and his administration that said, we might lose the midterms the way things are going.
No, we're going to lose the midterms.
And well, day to day, it depends. I mean, some days,
but that's typically how it goes.
Democrats, someday I agree with the Republicans. Even as a Democrat saying that, on whose fault is this government shutdown is about. But even besides that, before we shut down the government, Donald Trump said, I need some seats. This is a very slim majority. We need to make sure we win this. They said, we're going to follow your lead, President Trump. We're going to find us 5 seats. But here's what the problem is. If Texas does that, now that California is doing that, what's to say that Louisiana, Mississippi,
New York's going to do it. Illinois is going to do it.
Illinois could do it. I mean, it's just to go tit for tat like that. It really defeats the purpose, and we get nowhere. And then this could even still go to the Supreme Court. I mean, it's a really slippery slope of where we're going. Now, again, I'm voting yes because I think we need to stand up. One state in this union has to say this is enough.
But how can you say if what Texas is doing is wrong, that we can, 2 wrongs don't make a right?
But someone needs to.
That's why I can look at him and go, hey, look what Texas is doing is wrong. You can make the argument, but the fact is we're supposed to wait until the census hits to do it. And so, yes, you might have got screwed on the last time, but it'll come back around and we'll be able to correct that, hopefully. So that's where my argument is. What Texas is doing is wrong. What California is doing is wrong.
Well, and something to remember here. When you look at states like Massachusetts, that even though 34% of that state voted for Donald Trump, the Democrats have control there, and they already don't have one Republican member of Congress, of their congressional delegation. Look at New York, right? They only have 8 members of the Republican delegation when 30% of that state voted for Donald Trump. And so, yeah, the point is these Republican states have done it right for years and have done it very fairly. So if we want to start the squeeze, here's what's going to happen, and it's going to hurt the Democrats in the end. We can pull 4 to 5 seats out of Florida. We can pull another 2 out of Ohio. We can pull 1 out of Indiana. So if we're going to start this game, here's how it works. We're going to have a plus 12 when all the squeezing is done. The Democrats in the majority of their states that they have control, they've already squeezed. We haven't done it. And so if we start it, a tit for tat on this is not a good idea.
I'll agree with you on that one.
Like, we'll lose that fight. Christian, like
we will lose that fight.
We'll come up plus 12. How you do?
Well, but the main thing is we're disenfranchising voters. Like even here in California, yeah, you can make the argument, oh, well, 40% voted for Trump, but we only have 20% of representation in Congress. Well, look at that big old difference in the margins there. Like, yeah, and that's what we're going to make it worse. Yeah. We're going to make it worse.
And check this out. Think about this. If Governor Newsom gets what he wants, that'll put us to at best 4 members of Congress. And as I say as a joke when we debated the other day, we'll be able to caucus in literally a town and country Mini Cooper. We'll be able to caucus in a Mini Cooper. A state of 40 million people. We'll be caucusing in a Miata if they keep it up.
Don't we just end up with Republican states and Democrat states at that point?
Yeah, and then it's pointless at that point. I mean, but here's the other thing we have to keep in mind, that the voters at the end of the day get to decide. Vote on Prop 50. So if a majority of Californians say, we don't like this, we're shutting it down. End of story. Now, I don't think that's the case. I think we're going to win in the end, but then we have to go back to the case of, you can't just say, here's 5 Democrats. You still have to have 5 elections.
Y'all still got to beat David Valadao.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. Thank you, JR. I mean, time and time again, the CD22, which is represented by David Valadao, Republican member of Congress,
it's already a Democratic district.
It's a Democratic district by almost 10 points, and it's a Latino majority. Biden won it. Hillary won it. Kamala is the only one who actually lost it, by the way, but that's a different story. We'll get that later.
Not surprising.
But you still have to win an election. And so for us to have CD22 that is a Democratic and Latino majority be represented by a white Republican, I mean, that goes to show that at the end of the day,
he's not white. He's Portuguese.
Portuguese is
it Portuguese?
Not Hispanic.
He's Portuguese.
Is not Latino.
But he speaks Spanish better than I do.
He does speak Spanish. I know a lot of wonderful people that speak Spanish.
But I would argue back on that, Christian. When you look at it, it's a +6 seat right now. It takes it to a +11. You know as good as I do that when you start pushing +10, +15 in one party or another, it makes it very hard to compete. And so it's disrupting the will of the voters. And when we look at who drew these lines, right, the legislature passed this in a 24-hour period. Now let's look at this. Paul Mitchell, Redistricting Partners. He was the head of Obama's redistricting plan in 2010. His wife is the president of California's Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
I mean, these are really important things to understand. This is a guy who was on the board and was vice president of Political Data Inc. And 5-7 years ago, he said to Republicans, no, we don't want your business anymore. We don't want you. You're not allowed to use our data anymore. And so this is the guy that just drew this plan in the back room and in 24 hours passed it through the legislature. We were supposed to have a process in this state and in this nation, and that was not done here.
Yeah.
And I think we could both agree on that.
We have.
I mean, that it wasn't done the right way, even if you wanted to do it to suspend the state constitution.
Yeah, I was the first one to be so outraged when I saw the Senate hearing when this was still going through the legislature. And I forgot what senator it was, a Republican senator. She asked who drew these lines?
Drew the maps?
Who drew the maps?
The legislature.
The chair of the committee.
She's like, I'm on the legislature. I didn't draw the maps.
That's not okay.
Did you do it?
Yeah.
Who did it?
Pointing fingers and saying, well, I don't know.
And nobody could answer.
Okay.
That's what scares me is the lack of transparency here. And that's why when we get to that independent council, at least you know who's doing it. Even if it does still seem like it's swayed one way, we know at least, okay, this is where this came from.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It's done incredibly wrong. And again, if this passes, it'll bring our representation in Congress down to 7. And I want us to think about this for a minute. Why we have members of Congress?
You're acting like you're going to lose already, man. Why can't you just run and run a campaign?
Well, because
come on, I like a lot of competition.
Millions and millions and millions of dollars in mail-in ballots, and people getting 4 in their mailbox at home and apartment complexes. So we don't have exactly a airtight system here in California for fair elections, but 7% is what it'll take our representation to. And here's why it's really critical. Members of Congress are supposed to represent their values. They're the people in their district. So how is this going to hurt us? This is going to hurt us for Central Valley farmers, the way this has been drawn. This is going to hurt us for representation for the oil industry, right? For what we've done in distribution. It's going to harm us. It absolutely will. And so we have to think about that. When we start drawing lines in counties that are 4 or 5 and 6 hours away from each other, we have to be very clear that is going to harm us, Republican, Democrats, no party preference alike, for the needs and the interests of the Central Valley, which are critical. Because as you both know, we're always overlooked anyway in this state.
We are, and I agree on that. And really, I've always said this, and we both agreed about this. There should not be really a supermajority on any level of government. We need to be able to work with each other the same way we do here all the time. But at the end of the day, I keep reiterating, this goes to the voters. And really, if it was a Democrat in office or a Republican in office, they're going to represent our valley with farmers' interests, with oil interests, with our values as Central Valley residents. Because really, at the end of the day, we are the ones fighting for everything in Sacramento and in DC. Because
I think we all just worked together on the oil thing recently, did we not?
Gavin Newsom signed the oil bill allowing us to drill for oil because Shannon Grove and I'll give her credit because she really pushed hard. Now that's a Republican in a supermajority having to work with Democrats, and that's really what we need to be putting our best foot forward in that. And really, at the end of the day, the voters get to decide who's going to represent them. And hopefully that's someone that's going to fight for our values. And I don't think that's a Democrat issue or Republican issue, because we all go through the same experiences here in the Central Valley.
Well, I think, look, the governor did do a great thing by allowing us to have drill up to 2,000 oil wells a year. But I'm not going to, have a parade down Main Street, because it's the same governor that shut down the oil industry and has killed thousands of jobs here. Look, why did he do it? Because we all know Gavin Newsom wants to run for president in 2028. We know that that's coming. And so he already shut down 2 of the last refineries we have, and the other one is hanging by a thread. So he knows, he's seen the same reports that all of us have in the Central Valley, that gas was going to be $8 to $9 a gallon by next summer, which doesn't really look good when you're trying to start running for president. So he did it for some of the right and some of the wrong reasons. I'm very happy for the jobs we'll get in the Central Valley and to keep gas down and to allow us to drill up to 2,000 new wells a year. But that does not make him a savior for oil, because he's the one that has effectively destroyed it for the last nearly 8 years.
Well, bringing this back to Prop 50, though, I think, again, we have to reiterate that this is very temporary. It's only until the next census. And then after that process, we have to recount everybody, hopefully including undocumented individuals in this country, because they deserve representation as well. They pay taxes. We'll talk about that when the census comes up. They do pay taxes.
That's a whole nother day.
That's a whole other conversation.
That's a whole other day.
But I think the rest of the nation needs to follow California and what we've done before, and that it's an independent, nonpartisan commission that's really transparent, because they go up and down the state having meetings everywhere, asking people's input.
They take input, yeah.
They take input. They want to know, why should we draw the lines that you want? And each one of us here and every viewer at home could draw their own lines and submit it to the commission, and that could be taken into consideration. They have to. I think that model needs to be the nationwide model, so that politicians are not drawing their own lines.
Well, they don't have to, because the maps that came up with it looks like a 4th grader scribbled in art class. But again, the auditor gets to choose that. They're appointed by the legislature and the governor. But this is an outright attack on democracy. It's really interesting, Jared, the language here, and I think this is kind of funny. Authorizes temporary changes to congressional district maps in response to Texas's partisan redistricting legislative constitutional amendment. So an attack on democracy is literally in the ballot language, but it's so shocking, because the same legislature that pushed this through in 24 hours, that's trying to suspend Article 31 of the California Constitution to pass this measure. It's wrong. It's absurd. And I hope that everybody does realize what's going on here. This is a power back grab by Newsom and the Democrats, and you should vote no on Proposition 50. It's very clear.
But see, I think the real attack on democracy is having a president acting like a king, saying, I need 5 seats, go find them. And then telling Georgia in the last election, I need votes, go find them.
Votes.
That's not okay. You should not. I mean,
it's not.
Win or lose.
It's not.
But Texas gets to draw their own lines whenever they choose. Our state has said
not
no.
Fair. We have politicians drawing
That's not fair. What do you mean it's not fair? 34. You're saying 34 states in the country. That's not fair. Well, you're not a Texan. You don't get to make that choice.
And that's true. And that's true. But that's why
the California voters said yes to Proposition in 2010 that said it should be an independent commission.
But why shouldn't it be a nationwide model?
Because we don't draw their lines.
I think it should be.
Issue.
But it should be it should be a nationwide model, so that we don't have this issue ever again. And I said this at our last debate that we had with the Greater Bakersfield Chamber of Commerce, that this democracy needs to outlast Gavin Newsom and Donald Trump. One day there will be no more Gavin Newsom. One day there will be no more Donald Trump.
Hopefully one day there'll be no more Republican Party or no more Democratic Party.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, guys. I love you guys.
I don't know about that. We're not quite to the John Denver Kumbaya stage. We're not going there.
Look, we just got to get to the next election.
We just got to get to 2027.
We can make it to November 4th. But this democracy needs to outlast any politician, and that was the intention of the founding fathers.
But I would say
that's why I think this nationwide model,
I would agree.
Independent commissions.
I would agree with you on that.
So that we don't go to.
But you say that again. The words coming out of his mouth. You're saying that, but then you're saying we need to.
But at the same time, we got to take it away. I know.
We have to do that this time.
That's why I could say you're right and you're right. He's right. It's wrong what Texas is doing. You're right. We're going to say no on Prop 50. But at least we, as the voters, do get to decide that, and that is the power of the vote. So if anything, we encourage all of you to get out on November 4th. November 4th. If you haven't, or mail it in now, you should have your ballot. I want to thank you guys both for taking your time out of your day today. I appreciate your guys' friendship and this camaraderie that we've come to know.
Well, thank you very much, JR, and we appreciate you, brother, and congrats on the show.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. You guys will be back for sure.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
Okay.
All right, get out there, mail in those ballots or get to Election Day on November 4th. Got to take a break. On the other side, we'll take some of your questions, comments, talk about the week that was in the NFL, plus the MLB playoffs. Dodgers sitting around waiting to see who's going to take Game 7 tonight. All that coming up next. It's the JR Show. It's Kern Radio. We'll be right back.
Getting into it. How that went. Hey. That's
Yes. Two wrongs don't make a right. That's why I just tried to at least set the table by going, can we all agree that what Texas is doing is wrong? And Matthew, the Republican, was like, no, we can't agree. They're not doing anything wrong. I'm like, well, we've already lost. I'm sorry, you guys. I was trying to start on some common ground. And at least I was agreeing with the Democrats some part of the time, right? So see, you guys can see that I try to at least work and just common sense. Like, yes, Texas, you're not doing it right. California, you are also not doing it right. But at least we in California, as the voters, will have a right to say 661-842-KERN. What else you got?
Christian is a little disingenuous, in my opinion, along with his boss, of course. The complete irony and hypocrisy from the entire California Democratic left, chanting and screaming, "No kings, no kings," all while falling in line with King Newsom to completely bypass the will of his subjects.
I wanted to bring up the No Kings rally that was all the way from Florida to Bakersfield. People, thank you for all protesting yesterday. Thanks in part all to you guys. We woke up this morning and we still don't have a king. So thank you all that protested yesterday. We thank you for that. Even though when you look at it, Chris, if you think about it, Donald Trump was voted on by the people, right? There's no question about that. It was a vote, and we all accepted it. And even if you go back to the primaries, Donald Trump got all the votes for the Republicans to be their nominee, correct? Yes, he did. And if you look at it and you go, well, Biden got all the votes to be the nominee in that last election, but he didn't end up running. And then we all got to vote. Well, no, we didn't get to vote for Kamala Harris. They just kind of plugged her in, kind of like if she was a queen or something. They just elevated her right to the nomination without ever receiving a vote, which kind of sounds like a king to me. But it's okay. I want to thank you for protesting yesterday, because I woke up this morning and we still in the United States of America did not have a king. Thanks to all those protests that happened. So thank you guys for taking your time yesterday to protest No King's Day, because we don't have a king. He was duly elected, both in a primary and in a general election. At least one party can say that, and it's not the one that's currently sitting in the presidential office. So what do I know? 661-842-KERN, 661-842-5376. What else before we get out of here?
I just got one more here. It says, I think both Texas and California are wrong, plain and simple.
Plain and simple. That's why I tried to start with, like, look, can we all agree that at least what Texas is doing isn't right? We're supposed to do this with the census every 10 years. What Texas is doing isn't right. Now, according to their state constitution, and are they going by what the Constitution says and what the laws are in the state of Texas? Yes. Yes, they're following all of those rules. But it still doesn't make it right. But we could. All I wanted was just, can we all agree on one thing? Nope. Okay. But at least I agreed with the Democrat on that. But then I turned and told him, now, how is that what they're doing is wrong, but what we're doing is not wrong? Well, we got to fight fire with fire. No, that's how we burn the whole thing down. We don't play fire with fire. That's how you burn the whole thing down. Because now we've opened up that door, and then now New York wants to do the same thing, and Chicago wants to do the same thing. And well, if they're going to do that, Florida will do it too then. And it just becomes, it doesn't become the United States that we know. It becomes, and there already is, California is a blue state, but it'll be just straight Democrat states and straight Republican states. And you move into that state that you feel comfortable with. And that's not the way that America should be. in my opinion. I got to get out of here for the day. Make room for the Ralph Bailey Show. It's a Monday. Kathy Abernathy will stop by. I'm sure she has a lot to say on this topic, plus other politics they'll discuss. Tomorrow, we got the folks from Moso Speedway as the dragsters pull into town this weekend. We'll tell you about that. Thanks for hanging out. Be good to each other out there. This is the JR Show. Lily, Dad loves you.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. House Speaker Mike Johnson says the Senate will try for an 11th time